wherever it is, wherever you are. So I put in the ability to generate infinite parts of the map just in time. I don't even know where would be off right now. Just in time for Jason to box us into one little part of the map. But we can see never before seen areas to a limited extent. Just very, very slowly. Alright, so yeah, this is picking up the detail layers now. So what I'd like to be able to do is to do all of the object spawn stuff. To be able to generate things at this layer, or at this level. So that's going to have it's going to have a couple steps to it. I mean, the object spawns depend on the biome, so we're going to need that information. At this scale, that should be performant enough. We're not going to hit, well, okay, that still a little hits you when you hit tile edges. So did I lose my style updates? Why is it glitching out here? Oh, I bet my biome map had a max scale, max zoom on it. Yeah. So max zoom is 31, max native zoom is still 24. Yeah, so apparently that was also turning off the pixel? The pixel sharpness. It's weird. Yeah, I guess that's mostly just that you don't have to generate as much. When you do have to generate one, it's still a little bit of a hitch. I guess I'm more interested in kind of proof of concept stuff right now. There's still like web workers and, well, it's not super useful, but at this is the detail level. Oop, we didn't actually change. That we would be operating at. And really, you want to be looking down here, which wouldn't hit new tiles very often. Alright, we need to get back into the map file. Well, I guess I need to set up an output layer for stuff. I don't know quite what it'll look like yet, but it'll look a little bit like biome. Object layer. All right, it's not going to need biome colors. We're essentially going to have a function. Well, right now, we're just going to do it as color. It needs biome parameters because it depends on biomes. There's probably going to be some other parameters going on. And I forget, I thought I had done something to map the actual biomes out. Biome map, yeah. Which is going in there, but we also need it from here. So we do in fact need to generate the biome for this. Well, only at certain points actually. So I'm not sure exactly what this is going to look like yet. And did we get... that's biome. Object. Object. All right, because we did, red and green, and that's not a good method. I mean, it's a temporary method, so it's kind of fine, but it doesn't behave well with negatives. I forget what I had to do. Was it just abs? Well, abs inverts things. Anyway, let's just say we're rendering our new layer. And without the fractal stuff, it's not so bad. I've got a couple ideas how to optimize that, but that's kind of a later stage of the process here. Edge of screen? Edge of screen? Get map biome index. Get map object raw. Get map container time stretch. So we try, well, it's not raw because we're trying, it's probably without writing to the cache. And then there's the floor map, but that's only objects. That's only, there's no generation there, so that's the thing we'll have to deal with later. Let's get map object. Get map object. This does all of the look time calculation. Decay record, check decay object, get map object raw. Which attempts to do the fetch, and if it's not there, it gets tweaked base map, which is the thing that avoids object collisions. Which is probably going to be, well, is there a probably get base map? Possibly another wide object. Shorter object. Yeah, so while we'll need to eventually deal with this to get an accurate map, it's not the first step we need to build this up. Get base map. So there's our brand new edge object code, which I guess if I'm generating, then if I'm live generating it, you could actually do that. Map cache lookup. Out grid placement. Oh, that's an out parameter. See if any of our grids apply. So that's for the wells, which, I mean, granted would be an easy thing to do, but it's not like the core of what we're looking for. Man, so many seeds. Okay, so the density map would be a thing. So we have a grid seed that we might need later. We have a density seed. Oh, which has even more parameters. I might need like some sort of like fractal layer concept to have all these seed stuff together. One of those is scale and one of those is roughness. Okay, roughness. Density scale. Yeah, get extra fractals, yeah, lower level than... Oh, and then we need a sigmoid function. Be interesting to see what... Well, that's, yeah, it's only a single value. Be interesting to see what that does. And then we do another XY random. Why do you need two randoms there? Right, because density is a probability, so you still have to do a random number on it. All right. So I guess the first thing would just be to do essentially a fractal rendering, which actually we could do. Is we've got our fractal, which was based on, or our fractal layer, which was based on some of that stuff. Or some biome stuff. And I guess I'm not really using fractal right now, so I could reuse this. So density is a fractal layer. We've got those options, and we also want these options. Alright, let's set up for biome stuff. So this would be biome offset is a scale parameter. And density has a seed of 5379. Okay, 306. Oop, yeah, we left some stuff lying around here. All right, so if we look at density, don't really have anything to compare that to. Oh, these layers also need updating. Actually, that one should have been updated. Alright, so I guess we got fractal already. Okay. Oh, I was off. I was all zoomed in that area. Oh. Okay, I might believe that. Huh. Well, there was actually a fair amount of stuff around spawn, so that makes sense. And if we flip that back, yeah, you can kind of see all the stuff there, all the stuff up here. So that seems about right. Okay. So that's just a get xy random, which is not a function I have directly implemented yet. Well, we got a couple things going on here. So we've already kind of got this object layer. So that's going to be a get xy fractal. So he has this as a function that gets a object index at a location. So layer, compute map biome index. All right, so the equivalent here is going to be get base map. Yeah, people were really wild, and he just wanted to know what was going on. I was tempted to say I think I'm sane, but I haven't been on yet, so. And all I could have done was kind of report what people had said in a quiet paced tone, I guess. Yeah, I was looking earlier. It looks like either there isn't as much active griefing, or there's a little bit too much space for them to handle it right now. All right. The equivalent here is get base map. I'm going to ignore out grid placement for now. I'm not quite sure what that is for. All right, so the things, so ignoring edge, ignoring grid stuff for the time being. I'm trying to parameterize stuff. And there's going to be like a whole lot of parameters here. Yeah, I'd have to fully inline this to get the nice property reference. Although I guess I could make them all explicit parameters so they become individual things. We've got so much stuff here. All right. Options. Density. Seed. Maybe I should have a function too, but didn't seem. It's a very, very small function. Hit xy fractal in x in y. Options dot density roughness options dot density scale. And then I need sigmoid. So this is going to be a 0, 1. I guess. We can start returning that just to start using this function. And then we want v times, well, not just, that's actually, no, it wants to be an integer. So that should end up looking very much like our density fractal, if, you know, we type stuff right. Oh, but this is, why is this more tiled? It looks similar, but it looks like it's a different resolution. Oh, do you still have max native zoom? Well, I mean, no, I mean, they should both be max native zoom. Max native zoom, object layer. How do these get different results? Well, density is a fractal layer. Am I possibly misinterpreting my output? So fractal layer, one moment, I think the toilet's going again. Yeah, I think I have to move that chain up a notch. So why are we getting different results at this point? I mean, okay, so what is fractal layer doing on rendering side? That's v times 256. Am I possibly getting different parameters? I mean, oh no, not fractal. That should be pretty much. Oh, no. Actually, we're not going to need, well, we don't expect to need stride. Because we never render this below 24. Yeah, native zoom. About density, max native zoom. All right, so fractal is just some parameters. Density is some different parameters. object is supposed to be getting a bunch of parameters. And it looks like it's doing something very similar. Let's see, so right now, right now this layer does just do everything. Or rather it will sort of tile out like that, which I don't think you'd actually use this particular layer above 24, but I don't want it to cut out, not zoom up. Because otherwise it'll just be too slow. Let's get one sample here. Okay, those are the kinds of numbers I expected. So why is that different than this? Oh, that looks like a different roughness parameter. So you're getting get base map is taking this dot options. This dot options maybe I missed some names here. Density scale, density roughness. I thought those were the same parameters I put into my other fractal layer, but maybe those seed. Oh, okay. Yeah, in fact, it is roughness. We did not update. So this is a... Okay, well, it's got some roughness. And that was the density plot. Okay, so now that's matching. I guess density doesn't need to be terribly rough, because we're also doing random numbers on top of it. Though I'm curious. Let's take it down that small. Well, this is the density fractal. Yeah, that's not very much roughness. So you could conceivably, well, because I'm trying to do a perfect emulation of the base system, I can't do this. But for density, you could kind of get away with just a get xy random bn at the largest scale, because that's going to be 90% of the data. So if you want to do a system like this, you could optimize it in that way, which would save us a whole lot of calculation. But we don't have that option. So the other thing that's curious about this is that this is a very, well, I can't, it's yeah, it's not quite the same, but part of me keeps wondering, I mean, it wouldn't be 100%. Well, this is the actually density fractal now. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be quite the same either. You just have to pick some sort of object appearance threshold. And I guess it doesn't really matter which layer to look at right now, so let's get you back to there. Oh no, it's not biome fractal, it is density roughness. Wouldn't something like this with a fixed cutoff get similar results? It probably would, but that's not the system we have. All right, well, I guess this, part of what he did was the pre-check for could something possibly be here? Does that involve the random again? Yeah, okay, so he does this. So now I need an equivalent of get xy random. Which is actually part of the fractal. And it is just the hash. Okay, I have you. Did I ever use you? We did a sometimes there. That's just the tweaked hash. So I guess just for keeping it similar, this is a function call we could possibly optimize out later. Get base map. All right, so we have a density. Oh, and we also have a sigmoid. I forgot about that. Is sigmoid here? I mean, this is probably a function you can look up, but we do want to match this. Oh, but he's putting the density through this and then doing random numbers against it. Hmm. All right, so this is going to be straight up. All right. This is something you need. Oop. Function of in -1 in -1, 1. What does -1, -1 mean? I feel like that's an error. Is that supposed to be 0 to 1? Times 2 minus 1. That sure looks like a 0, 1 to negative 1, 1. Okay, we care about... Oh, so we're doing an abs, and then we're restoring the sign? Smaller values make harder need... Oh no, input and output. Oh no, this is turning change into negative 1 to 1. Or no. That's saying create the out in there and then transform it. Sign times abs input. Oh, okay, so abs input is needed later. But we're doing sign times abs input. So wouldn't we just use shifted input here? All right, we convert you to negative 1, 1. We use k twice. We use... I don't think we actually need abs input here. And maybe there's some... well, maybe there's some tricks. Oh, actually we don't need... So if we don't do that, we don't even need sign. So we don't need that. K is used twice. Shifted input is used twice. And you're not lined up with everything else. All right, so now we want... so he's just doing it as density density equals sigmoid density oh, okay then. So there's just areas that, yes, but then you can still have the occasional random number. Yeah, the direct density function method would probably give you a lot smoother gradients. Might be interesting to try replacing that once we actually have some object spawning working. Okay. Oh. And then he's using that as a base appearance. And then he's scaling it. All right, this gives the impression that it's a parameter. I guess technically this is a parameter too. What would you call that? I think you said the larger values made for less severe? Yeah. Steepness? As it increases, we get... No, as it increases, we get... It's like smoothness. Well, then we have roughness and smoothness. That makes perfect sense. Roughness 0.1, smoothness 0.1. Then we already have a density scale. Is that just density? All right, so we did that. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Oh, option. Okay, so it's just reducing the probability of things spawning there. Then we have our, what was that, object seed? Yeah. All right, and if we skip this, what happens? Then we just return 0. get xy random. Density. This will be, eventually this will be map objects, so sure. Else, if we do have an object here, well, right now we've been returning 0, 1, so that should give us well, that got overridden. An object here probably got blocked by the small object blocking. There's some stuff up there that looks, well, no, there's an object. There could be some small object stuff here going on. Could be some small objects. No, actually, there's a dirt pile there. There could be some object blocking here. At this stage, I probably need to make this more of an overlay. Base. Object. So let's get default and overlays. And then get object. Apparently overlays. Okay, that's a little bit better for examination. So these, well, one of the trees blocked there. This may have been blocked out. That's probably blocked out. This is probably the small object bug. And I do remember having more ponds here when I played in the one stage of things. Okay. So actually, I mean that's already level 1 density function. Got something to show for it. All right, now this is where it's going to get especially expensive. All right, so we have second place gap. Even doing it on one biome would be a start. Get map biome index. Oh, this is the thing where I never implemented those second place parameters because I wasn't really sure how they were used. So this is an awkward interface in JavaScript. I could pass an object in which to set the fields. You do kind of not want to do this twice because first and second place both involve evaluating all biomes to see what the top two are. You could generate an ordered list of biomes. But that's actually, I think that's actually more work than what we need because you have to sort the entire list. It would actually have to be a list of two things because you would need the value and the biome number. So I don't think we were doing any second place stuff in well, this is get map biome index. Does that use compute? That uses get biome index. Where the heck were we on? I know we had compute biome, yeah. And I think actually get map biome index is just running through that base map function. Oh. Okay, so we're looking at the other system. Get biome index of db biome. So we got to worry about which type of biome index we're using here. So map biome, I guess, well, there's biome index. Yeah, I almost want to come up with some different terminology for the two types of biomes. So right now, all we've got is this. Get base map. Tweaked base map. Ignoring the grid for now. Get map biome index, which is, no, get map biome is doing that. So this is index. Get map biome index is checking the database. Oh, but this is all we fetch from the database stuff. Compute map biome index. Second place. And then database storage. So this is mostly concerned, or entirely concerned with the database stuff, which will be slightly more relevant for the checking neighboring objects bit. But that doesn't actually do get map biome index. You do compute map biome index. I don't think we've translated to the biome number yet. So for our purposes, we can just go straight to compute map biome index. Get base map. That I'm going to be doing something very similar to that actually. Tweaked base map. I want definition. Grid. So picked biome and second place biome. No, that's a grid again. So we could use that, but we don't have our second place. Yet. Compute map biome index in X, in Y. We've got parameters. And that can return a -1. Now this is going to start getting us into object IDs. Although it returns 0 here. Oh no, this was... yeah, I inverted this so I could have one less level of indent. If picked biome equals -1. That's probably like an error case. I don't expect that to change much. Those are curious. Already set. It's already set that we're calling get base map for neighboring cells. This is an optimization and biome checking. For a single last checked, maybe that would be an optimization. I'd have to get set up for better performance number checking. Second place reduction. So now, well, this is the second place check. I want to skip over that for now. So that might just replace it. So we've got the second place check. We've got... Actually, I think the grid objects were up here. The second place check. And this is where to actually pick an object, we need to know the IDs. We actually need map information. Something present here, and we've got special objects. It's 10 times more common than would be otherwise. Oh, so that's actually replacing object spawns. And then we've got a whole weighting system. So I've got several problems in doing actual generation. One of them is I don't have any images to show when I pick something. The other is I actually need like the entire map database or object database in some form. Or I need like pre-calculated data that tells me exactly what should be there, but that doesn't let me fill things in the empty spaces. So until we can pick any object, jackpotting doesn't really matter. Second place biome. Yes, there's not a whole lot we can do here, other than pick different numbers based on the biome to sort of see different things going on. All right, so we've got, okay, grid, density. We check for the second place. Then num objects. Wow, does that for every map fetch? That's gonna hurt. And it's a separate reseeding for everyone, with more parameters. Ooh boy. So we've got a special chance. We've got a chance of a particular object. Go through the natural chances. Restore chance of special object. Oh, he modifies the map. Or the chance table. Peeking through from second place, make sure it's not a moving object. Those are locked to their target biome only. Yeah, so that's one of the special cases. So we've got jackpots, we've got... all right, so general order of things. We've got our second place check. We've got... jackpot chance. Editor's too intelligent sometimes. Then we have to do a weighted object pick. This will be the first thing. So it looks like he may have a chance table that gets modified. And then we have to eliminate off biome animals. Well, moving objects. But to get realistic data, we're going to need some sort of data set. So what are we going to need about each object? Well, this might actually go a little bit into the image problem as well. I mean, we could pick a random number to color different tiles. It's not just not gonna have any relevance to the game. So I thought I had looked around. This does infinite scroll. Was it forums? Probably main forum. Probably very, very old. Is there a sort by relevance? I mean, it's probably relevant, but it's also probably old. Okay, this is discussion about it. Well, that's a username. Oh, Ryan B took it over. Website onetech.info. Tech tree visualizer? Oh, that was okay, that's the old one. Well, here's something. Can we do that one? Uh, Any suggestions? So I think I actually did find this. It's just you've kind of got to go hunting. I guess there's always direct search. No, this is going to be. There's that one. And maybe. Or if it was a fork of it. It's not too long ago. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Network. Well, that's seems to be about as up to date as any of them. Unless it was put up in a different, not as a fork. Let's put the same name. 1K users. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yep. Yeah. And that's the Japanese one. That's the only one that's remotely current. Oh, rep Ryan Bates. So it's still in this repository. So I did some playing around with this. Process the latest data and the site itself. So this actually does all of the image generation and stuff. Now I don't know if it gets me all the data I need. So I kind of want to see, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do all the dependencies here. If we get the kind of data we would need. Nope, wrong one. Build setup. Processing scripts that we really need. Image magic, I might have. Yeah. Now whether it wants the Windows version, I don't even know. Canvas dependencies. Now this is for the art stuff. I might be able to disable art generation to see what kind of data we get. Really? They put a link in there just for that. Okay, well we definitely can't do conversion on here. I'd have to go to my other computer. And I think Socks was for the audio, which I could totally skip. Sound processing. Downloading latest and processing sprites. Process sprites, process sounds, and processing sprites. Process without generating sprites. Instructions unclear. The question is, will it actually not be able to install, even though we're not going to use it? Such useful error message. What the heck are you trying to do? Yeah, there's the canvas stuff. All right, what else do we have here? process.js. Okay, so top level doesn't do anything. Unprocessed version. If it's do download or include sprites or include sounds, if it includes download. Main processor. That only requires game data. Is there something with sprites? There's sprite and there's sprite processor. Sprite processor requires canvas. If do sprites, convert sprite images, process sprites. Oh, looks like game data is what depends on it. Sprite processor. Convert sprite images. Oh. So I might have to do that on another computer or on a Docker or something. For now, I'm just curious what kind of data we get. Process sprites. So if we just never hit that, unfortunately, because we can't actually install this. Oh, this is the other, this is not process package. Well, we've got it in a checkout. And this doesn't directly use that. Okay, so that was the only thing we were missing. Now, we do need... Well, I don't know how it downloads. I might be able to just get a copy of it somewhere. If I knew that. Well, we could probably figure it out. Unable to find object with ID 101. All right, what do we get? We looks like just a clone of One Life Data 7. So I probably could have done that ahead of time. We've got a source and no output data. Is that what this looks like? Statewell gooseberry bush. All right. So how is this not a problem for one map proper? Object with ID. So it seems to be having problems. Is that the name? Free lock? Maybe it's a category. All right, so what is your problem here? What is this in? This is, oh, it is indeed, it doesn't seem to be a category. We are at 46. Add to. Oh, did something do an order dependence? Or I wonder if it's even a an operating system dependent file traversal order. Like if you started doing alpha instead of numeric. Oh, it's this. Okay, so this dot parent ID. What is our own object ID? Oh, this is specifically category though. To start. No, I guess I don't need to download anymore. Moist staked wild goose. Well, that's the entire thing. Dyed black pattern. Yeah, so the objects array, I guess we really just need to know like about how many we've added. Yep, I don't need to download again. Object count. Oh, geez. Wait, objects.length is undefined? Oh, it must be a hash table. What is it? Objects.keys. But this is like the first thing we're adding. A category of 2 objects. Oh yeah, we've got the entire object count. Wait, but objects doesn't have this object ID? How can this be? Twenty. What about this? Object IDs, parent ID. It's line endings. It's line endings. So where are we parsing object data? Import categories, import transitions. Maybe there's just an object, game object. Doesn't have parent ID necessarily. Parse data. How do you get node system line ending? Platform specific new line. os.eol. So hopefully we're that new. Do we perchance not have? All right. So anyway, so actually I need to know if there's a \n. Oh, and we've got the game data repository in our tree now. So that's probably a lost window. So we have to, and we've also got node modules. That one I may have ignored. We've actually already got data. It might not. Data might not actually be up to date with the staked gooseberry bushes. But that's not going to be a natural map object. So we've got a data repository. All right, so category, game object, run lines. So I'm not sure about Git, but these are the actual files. And admittedly, this might be every constructor. And oh, I guess this could be const, couldn't it? Hey, Wolvenscar. How's it going? Have you been into the chaos? Oh, you have been playing? I saw some people on earlier. It wasn't as bad as people were saying yesterday. Well, supposedly it became unplayable in 2 hours because people were deliberately griefing everything. So now it's a little bit bigger. Oh, I removed my data. Did I open a new window? Yes. Well, yeah, one of the things Jason said last night was that the game is about stopping griefers. And that's kind of something he said before, is that he wants to make society necessary. One of the things in a society is like rule of law or, of a king or dictator or whatever, but some force to maintain peace and order. Uh, the conditions of the game make that extremely hard to develop because it helps to have longer-lived people who can maintain maintain the sort of status quo there and uh, train up and maintain guards and whatnot. Which, well, maintaining guards then requires larger populations to be able to sort of support those people. So yeah, I'm a little worried that the game scale in time and number of people in any given place is a little too small. Well, I mean, people go around and and go on murdering sprees and kill all the sheep and other stuff, and who stops them? There's obviously some people who don't want that happening, but we don't really have good means to enforce laws right now, except killing people. But usually we're not the ones going for the weapons. So if we can establish a place where well-intentioned people control enough weapons to stop the rest of the people, and maybe we can enforce order, but you have to pass on the guard duty every half hour. And I mean, we had trouble just kind of maintaining families before, so it's going to be hard. And you've kind of got to be better than the griefers as well, because if they can work it out to get the growl first, then they're going to win a conflict, no matter how many people are going after them. Well, I guess if the people start going and you can overwhelm them, but still. Cannot read property. Starts with the undefined. So we got... I don't know where I exported them to. Maybe, oops. Maybe down here somewhere? Maybe static edge? Okay, so that's the structure for it. Well, there's some JSON objects. Okay. What would be an object of interest to me? He hasn't actually made a naturally spawning object in a while, has he? Electrum. So that is 3001. Electrum ore. It has transitions. It has versions. It has craftable. Depth, map chance, biome. I feel like that's a compound spawn chance, which might be fair enough. But I don't need most of this data. Yeah, so for the images, I'm going to have to do that in my laptop or on Docker or something. I probably could use this data. Let's see, is there like an index, or do we just load everything up? Pretty JSON. Ah. Probably for reference. Some recent versions. Objects. Okay, and there's the list of object IDs. and a bunch of other stuff. So was there, that's pretty, all right, so where did we break down in this process here? Exporting versions. No, that's the map. GameObjects.js. Starts with, double quote, is global trigger. So we got an object with a null name. Okay, that gets asked a lot. It's going to make things a little bit slow. And we go through it again. I guess maybe I should just print out object ID so we knew what we were looking at here. I guess I could have done a catch and then printed out the current object. So really only care about the last one. So I've been curious if this set of data would be practical to load every time. I was doing all my network fetching on the Elm side, but I don't know that it has a use for this data. And the JSON decoders could get painful. Okay, so we're going through this quite a few more times than I wanted here. Console.log this and throw it again. All right, so the thing that bloody warsword. Oh, I missed a split somewhere. I thought I got them all. Oh, we have our data again. Maybe it's some sort of like default white space split? Let's see. So this is regatta data directory there. No, I need just a... How did I miss you? Let's get... We're not really doing that. So, game object, maybe a default split? Okay, there's a character class. Parse line. So this doesn't seem to be a category. There's the sprite ID. Does the object not have its own ID? Maybe this is in sprite? Well, no, because we're not even really, well, we might be doing some sprite data. Split, split. Split on space. Parse sprite file. All right, well, we need to know, actually that, that is 3048. This is 3049. This must be an auto-generated transition? Unless that actually is a sprite ID. Doesn't seem to go up that high. Well, it's close. All right, so if we look at objects, there is indeed no 3049. Bloody Warsword. Min pickup age, no flip. So yeah, he split some stuff on this. Let me get this. Wait, are you not? No, but it's a DOS mode file, yeah, so. This is an object. But we did our split on system end of line. No. Each line. How can I... What makes a game object? Game data, game object content, import objects. Each file contents objects.txt. Importing objects. All right, game data. Each file content. Each file in dir, which means I have to get a path and understand how all those paths work. Because I really just want to isolate this one thing and step through it, because there's just too much stuff to do all at once. So we want callback with the file name. Path. From here, it is, actually it was just the path before. Objects 3048.txt. Objects text. And I'm kind of curious what that looks like. And then exit. Did I move temp? Yeah. Oh, we did not import fs here. Binding.open. What? No such file or directory. Oh, process objects. Ah, yes, we forgot. So I guess it was assuming that directory. New game object not defined. Okay. All right, Bloody War Sword. Yeah, that was a very different... Oh, yeah, I must have been doing Elm instead. So, for me, there's not a lot of situations where I would go through the trouble of adding a compiler and not go all the way to Elm, I guess. Ah, yeah. So it's loading 3048 just fine. Where are we getting 3049 from? All right. It's importing objects. Nothing looks like a weird string here. And leave this around for a moment. So where the heck are we going wrong? Oh, that's right, within game object. We had some sort of object. This dot name starts with. I don't know about weird. I have Control T hooked up to possibly the Control P, or Leader T hooked up to like possibly like Control P plugin. I have to check which one. I have Leader A hooked up to ACK. I have Leader bound to comma because it's easier for me to get to and it's not a common Vim command for me. I have backslash bound to save because I do that all the time and it's a multi-keyboard thing in Vim. I do searching in files. See, so there's ACK for cross files, jumping to files. I use change in or select in brackets and such a lot. Percent to jump between ends of things. End of beginning in file. GG, capital G. I do line selections a lot. I do column selections sometimes for like adjusting indent and things. It's Control V. I do word navigation. I should probably work on other forms of navigation. I don't use marks very much. Every once in a while I remember it. Don't use macros very often. I do search and replace in a selection sometimes, and I have this default set to actually no confirm mode, and I'll put confirm back on. So %s to search and replace in the entire file. Maybe I'll think of others as I go. So it looks like, well, there's constructor and there's parse data. Well, it's calls there. Oh, maybe parse sprite? Sprites.push new sprite. Parse line. Why do you assume it's only a line? Let line of lines. So sprite is supposed to be getting a constructor of lines. Parse sprite lines. Lines.slice. So this is like a subspec of there. Because it is sort of sprite stuff. Sprite. Lines include sprite ID. So that's... does parse sprite putting this in? Yeah, sprites.push. New sprite lines. This dot sprites.length. And this. In object. Object is circular, index 0. Line of lines, parse line. It's like, oh, well, no, ID is a whole bunch of stuff. Is it possible that not all of the files got converted? Or fully converted? Sprite ID. So he did a line operation. To get this stuff, and that did not seem to work. This looks like it's throwing the entire raw content file into the sprite field. Parse sprite lines. If lines I includes sprite, well, if it was one big line, it would include it. Is parse data called from somewhere else? And I forgot to remove the data. What the heck did I open this in? Ah, that one. Do we need it not selected here? Okay. We were looking for parse data. Definition of function transition. This dot parse data. No, nothing else calls it besides the object constructor. Look up object. Change log commit. Is making a file object out of that? So I need to know which one, well. Oh, he's trying to do the differences, and the get file content is not doing the, because he's doing raw get fetches. Oh, man. All right, so can we, well, if I do a regex, it might split between them. How does split work? This might be a straight up JavaScript thing. Empty string is not split between each user perceived characters between UTF code unit. Points at which split should occur, treated as a string or as a regular expression. Contains more than one character. The entire string must be found. The entire string, empty string. So maybe instead of doing all this stuff to get system EOL, it looks like we're going to have to be able to handle both. So we need the character class of these things existing a couple of times possibly. Oh, and we need our data back now that we're done searching. Would be nice if it was easier to add exclusion directories. You have to like go into the configuration, set that up. Then what if you did want to search there and reload all your VIMs to get it? All right, I have pushed way too long without water. I will be back in a minute or two.
Wow.
But going down, you're basically flying.
What the hell? That was interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of hugging the ceiling here.
Offered me a new pair, and they are turtle beach. So far, I don't complain. Right? Good thing you said that before I did. I would have.
Little bit here. That's not very natural, but whatever. The big tree, Jesus. Put that in the back. Oh, it's a little better. What? Why didn't that accept? Oh, shoot. Duplicated. Delete that one. There you go.
All right. I mean, at least the berry farms are getting a little more humble. They're a little more tamed. You do with that, Mom. Follow, okay.
All right, welcome back. Looks like we're still going. Okay, so it got to a point where it's doing like all the old versions of stuff, which we don't. Well, I guess if I wanted to do old versions of the map, I would need some of that at some point. But actually, so the objects in theory are exported. So we've got. Yeah, this is way more data than I need. So I may have to do some of this myself because I'm going to need very, very few of the data fields just to get map spawns information. Oh, and then the other thing I don't know, we do have sprites. Well, not yet anyway. So give me a naturally occurring object. We me find one earlier. Electrum ore was 3001. Oh, right, because I haven't done sprite processing because I can't do the image processing. So I will have to do that to see if we get offsets. Oh wait, that was static edge. And then he's going back to 250, which is probably the most recent I had there. But each of those has versions? Target ID, new target, transitions array. Yeah, there's actually no sprite information in this file. So the thing I get is biome and spawn chance that I could potentially use. So I've been trying to manage all my network stuff in the Elm UI so far. This is, well, for one tech, you don't necessarily need all of this stuff all the time. See, that's probably all the detail. So, oh, actually, maybe the object thing has... Because this is what you would need at the top level to display this page. Probably shouldn't have done... Well, where am I? We're in objects. There's a lot of stuff here. Objects.json. So we've got IDs. Isn't there... There might be a matching set of sprites somewhere here. But of course, I'd have to have worked out the actual sprites, which is going to require some other environment where we can run Node Canvas. But this would give me all of the IDs. Is there a pretty objects.json? So we've got object IDs. Okay, so that actually is a little slow. We've got, oh yeah, this is just a indexed array. So IDs, names, probably to try and get it as compact as possible. Difficulties. If it's another set of numbers, it won't be obvious when this goes. Filters, clothing, food, tools, containers. So I guess the good news here is I could probably get the naturally occurring. Clothing, food. Oh, that's the number of uses for food. Containers. Yeah, so there's a natural objects in here, which is surprisingly small, actually. So, I mean, yeah, those would be the only object things I needed to fetch. So that would help. All right, could we bootstrap off this? Now, you have, where is this outputting to? Because it hasn't done anything. Oh, static edge. Ah, okay, so it's current version and edge. So if we grab this for bootstrapping, oof, there's actually a lot of stuff in there. Most of which well, a lot of it's the object files, but a lot of it I probably don't need. Yeah, I might want to do my own data processing to get just the natural objects. Well, I'll eventually need buildable objects too, if we actually want to import anything. So static. Oh. Biomes have our spawn chances. Actually, that's okay. I'll take that. Yes, there's actually not that many objects. Ground is image processing. There. Sounds we haven't done. Sprites we haven't done. It's an aversion. Changes, I guess. All right. So, does objects.json have a biome list? It has a biome IDs. So I could use that to load up my biome list. So if we only do that, all right, what is the state? That's the data. We really had just kind of started sketching some stuff out. All right, so we're almost certainly not going to use the data directory. Let me order to that. Sketching out object function. All right, I don't think I had any Elm stuff here. Does Elm need to manage this at all? Only if I need to get access to the data for something. Now I took out all my code that did fetch. All right, where did we? buttons. Input box. Respond to location. Index. Oh, I must have had all the code still in the index at this point. So we do have to consider that. That's probably pre-Elm. Elm wrapper. Are you still all one file? Alright, so there is... Well, that had taken over some of the fetch. Now actually, well, it gives me the skeleton for how that looked. So somewhere that's the habit inhabit map. That has to wait for immediately invoked function. Well, okay, I guess it's initted at that point. Thought inhabit had to wait for something. Maybe there's some asynchrony here. Oh, right, because Elm has to make it. That's the immediately invoked function. That's supposed to be a stand-in, and I never actually made it dynamic. Somehow it still works. All right, so this is also asynchronous. Oh, so that's one of the problems. Because certain layers have to wait to render until they get data. This has not been one of those layers. I guess we'd have to defer that add to. Oh, actually, that does have to be in here because that has to refer to map in its handler. Okay, so this was a function to do this, which is actually one way to get the code out of here. This is not a API URL. This is just static objects. Or is it in objects? No, it is top level. Objects.json. Then function oh no, that is fetch promise. For the fetch. Then you have to parse JSON, which is also asynchronous. Thinking I could maybe change indentation there by chaining the promises. So console.log. Oh, so this is my wrapper, which had a data field. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of stuff. That gives me a biome IDs array. Wrapper dot biome IDs dot for each. And then we got this whole thing again. Well, in a sense, in pieces. Fetch static biomes. Plus biome plus dot JSON. So now the problem is we're doing all this in here, so it possibly should be a separate function. Because this presumably is going to be a biome. Wrapper.biome IDs. Response B. Must have retyped this at some point. Okay. And objects. So I don't know. This looks like he's pre-calculated the spawn chance within the biome. But I'm going to have to check if that makes sense with the algorithm we're using. So this might be the cumulative overall spawn chance, not the way that JSON is using it. Although I guess if it's a sum, it might not matter. All right, so I have to have some place to put this. So this is probably by biome, the named biome IDs. For now, but we have these by ID. Was that string or number? Looks like a number. So we should be able to say biomes ID equals biome. And then we need to put this someplace more useful. And we need this to be able to properly render that layer, so we would not want to add that layer until we had finished loading. Ooh. Ooh. This is a whole bunch of asynchronous fetches. So we would have to know when we had fetched all of these. Even if I moved it to Elm, I would still have to do some sort of has fetched biome tracking. So it is a list. We're not necessarily guaranteed to get it or to have it. It's like conceivably a biome could be removed, but we don't expect that to happen. Yeah, so if I did do a custom data export, I might want to put all this into one file just so I don't have to deal with this. So I guess we just do something silly. Like and pending, so we're gonna that's gonna be 7. Pending, if we already subtracted, should be less than 1. Then we can add that. And all right, so that gets fetched nice and quick. All right, so this data is going to have to move out. This bit is what needs to have the map. I had some sort of biome map. That gets you to the ID numbers. That stuff can be looked up in here. I actually need that for the biomes per se. All right, weighted object pick. Okay, so special, he modifies the weights. So this is different stuff. So total weight chance in the engine. Init map, yeah, pre-calculated. Regular fractal placement is, yeah, still init map. Oh, that's a grid placement. Natural map IDs, natural map chances, total chance weight. Oh, he's pre-calculating the total weight up to there. And this is in P. Custom random source, total chance weight. Map chance. So in a object record. So in the object record, object bank, object record, a map chance is indeed a float. I suspect that the numbers are not as finely detailed as they are in the OneTech data. So OneTech, I suspect, is doing the chance out of total. So I just don't need to know the max total. We're back in map. Get tweaked base map, get base map. Density, top biomes, or top 2 biomes yet. Something present here. Special object. All right, so we've got another seed. We've got a total chance weight for the biome, which I think with the modified tables, we don't, total chance is 1. Weight sum less than rand value. Natural map chance. Okay, so that is not a cumulative sum. All right, so I need object layer. We have. Oh, did I already do? Well, shoot, what was this? 9877. Get XY random. So that is the object present seed. This is the second place stuff. This is some biome stuff, looks like. Then we have the object seed. And we're missing so many other things here that it's not. We're not going to get accurate results right away. All right, weighted object pick. So we have a rand value, which we think get XY random is just going to be a 0, 1, which will be representative for the pre-calculated values that OneTech is giving us. Summing weights until 1 crosses the threshold. So yeah, very straightforward. Except this is the number of objects is going to be, so we've got picked biome. For our purposes, we are going to need a Well, this will be after the second place check. Probably somewhere around here. And that is going to give us num objects. What do these look like? Static, pretty JSON. Is I guess objects is something we're going to want as well. Equals biome. Oh, okay, so just biome.objects. We're going to need this and it's a pretty type loop. And maybe we would want spawn chance in its own table when we get to picking our own structures. So he did have an index. But it's a two item condition. So this is natural map chances. So this would be objects dot or objects num objects I plus plus. We did a plus plus, and then we did a. I guess if there was num object 0, the pre-check is good. This is a little odd. All right, and then undo the hack for special object. Make sure it's not a moving object. Return. Where do we get our actual result here? Get element, total chance weight, return ID, natural map corresponding IDs. Oh, and I has to be greater than 0. Return objects I dot, was it just ID? However, he did string IDs. Else, well, I mean, it will eventually be further processing. So we've got an else. So if I is greater than or equal to 0, and we do this by return ID equals that. That overrides it in a certain case, so we're probably clear to make that the default case. I may have to get back to the regular spawn chances in order to make all that stuff map up with the jackpots. return. There's a special case for this thing. Return ID, if it's second place. Oh, if it was second place, then we do actually need that value for the checking here. All right, so this used to be returning 0, 1 densities. So now we have to do this as object IDs. Didn't I have... I mean, that'll do something. I swear I had a version of this where I was doing random stuff. I may have removed all my primes. Colors times, yeah. You are, okay, get base map. Well, that will let us see something here. Okay, we're getting variation. That looks like it could be different. Well, we're not doing nearly enough of the accurate stuff, so I think we probably are getting different things right now. We're not doing jackpots, we're not doing secondary biomes. Oh, and some of these blank tiles could be off biome animals. All right, so is there a method to the madness? Output map biome image. There was another thing. Output map object image. Object colors. Object colors. So he is doing make color from HSV over all natural map IDs, which is not something I have easy access to right now. I mean, I could get it, but because that gives you like a useful range for stuff. The only I could, yeah. I would need, well, it's an object ID, so one thing we do know about it, because we need all natural, well, all natural map IDs dot size. Oh, so this is just doing indexes. So this is not actually doing objects. Wait. What are you testing then? Get base map. Oh, he's actually looking it up every time and then getting back to an index to get it within... I mean, that gives you a nicer compressed color space. So don't I have colors, 0, 1, 2. Biome colors, which is this of that. I guess to get real variation, you'd want to be using, well, he was using all, yeah, he's just using 1, 1. I probably don't want to be doing this conversion every time, but So v divided by something. Static edge is 2700. I think we grabbed this one. So 2697. Now most of the natural objects are probably going to be clustered down towards the bottom. And then color 0, color 1, color 2. Oh, I might want to do something with 0. Yes, the natural objects are all kind of in the green space. Oh, well, we do see a little bit of biome variation here. All the jungle stuff came in a lot later, so it's got higher IDs. All right. Equals v equals 0. So I still feel like there's a darkness over this. Oh, because I created all my layers as no alpha. Very deliberately. Yeah, so we're not doing things right now. We're getting completely, like, these are rocks, but they're different objects. But we can see that we're doing something here. And so, so the reds are probably all trees. So yeah, compressing the space will make the biomes show up a little bit better. Right now when the jungle shows up. Arctic was a little later. Desert was a little later. Okay, get base map. Okay, so that's something. Oh, I didn't, so I missed a seed set, I think. So that's one other little piece of the puzzle. XY random seed. So this is, we set up object seed and never used it. This is for randval here. So I'm just going to fuzz the results slightly. I'm not going to drastically change anything. Yeah, so that's looking a little different. Where was I seeing the different rocks here? Yeah, we're still getting different rocks. Different trees. So we've got a lot of little details to sort out. Okay. So we've got special objects. We've got second place. Oh, that was in a... Okay. Well, this might be what we can do right now. So we had our sigmoid. We had picked top 2 biomes. Oh, yeah, because this gets us back to the problem. How do we get the second biome out? Compute biome map index. Turn picked biome. I'm not even processing the second right now. I guess I could... Well, we need... not just the second place thing, but the second place gap. That's DB biomes version. Second place biome. Wait. Oh, are you getting this from a secondary function? If we got it. Oh, that's compute map biome index. But that has the second place stuff. So this is doing all the database parts of this. More caches. First place. So I could, I guess what I was partly concerned with is how do I use this? So we do picked biome, we do picked biome. So it is kind of sad to lose the ability to immediately return something. Yeah, so I could return an array. I could return an object. I could pass a secondary object in which to set fields in order to work like the base system. I may just have to put this off for now. So that is kind of our to-do list. We can't even get off biome objects at the moment. So you are to do, you are to do, you are to do, and you are to do. So second place will make a different. Well, I mean, second place and jackpot will make a difference, and then that's just a little bit of an extra. And I would have to make this. Where is our object layer? Alpha false. Okay, there we go. I mean, I guess it does help things stand out a little bit, but oh, and then we have to do the blocking sometime. Okay, well, right, we're not checking biomes yet, but we do get to skip most of our tiles because of presence. So that actually probably helps a lot on the processing load of this. Yeah, it gets a little bit slower. But we won't normally be using it at that level. Oh, I guess I do have... Yeah, then there's this version, where it's just gobbledygook. All right, well, that's some kind of progress, not the full solution. I guess I forgot I needed data for all of this stuff. And I may actually want to go get my own data sometime so I can format it better. That'll still be kind of a batch job that will need to be updated, but oh well. Mapspun at least doesn't change very often. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. What do we have? Ooh. There's some API calls not working. This is my typical schedule. What do we got? Let's see. Well, I'm doing some Astroneer later. All right. So I saw Link Wyland doing some of that. I did know some swearing there, but otherwise seemed to be doing a pretty good job and having fun. If you look for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time.